This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Allen. Emily Matson has the day off. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. Public Works in the VI has secured a $25 million grant for Phase 2 of the Veterans Drive project on St. Thomas. Public Works secured the maximum award possible for Phase 2 of the Veterans Drive and Waterfront Beautification Project. Phase 2 will continue the road project around the Virgin Islands legislature, including a new seawall, widening of the roadway, a wider promenade, and historic street lighting. There will also be on-street parking and an improved vendors plaza area. And DPW also secured funding for another big project on St. Thomas. The Estate Thomas neighborhood roads are getting a big facelift thanks to a $2 million grant from the Department of Interior. The DPW had previously prepared designs for the Estate Thomas infrastructure road repairs and rehabilitation project, but funding from the Public Finance Authority was not enough. Last year, DPW applied for the 2022 Capital Improvement Project grant to supplement existing funding and just learned they're getting that $2 million. Estate Thomas is one of the largest mixed-use areas in the territory and will address sidewalks, draining improvements, complete road reconstruction, and pavement markings. In news out of San Juan today, a Coast Guard crew offloaded nearly 2,500 pounds of cocaine Monday near Puerto Rico. 14 men, Dominican Republic nationals, are facing prosecution in Puerto Rico. The contraband authorities seized is estimated to be worth about $22 million. And on August 3rd, an air crew with Customs and Border Protection detected a suspicious 25-foot vessel north of Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. The smugglers threw multiple bales of contraband into the water when they were spotted, according to Customs and Border Protection. The Coast Guard moved in, stopping the vessels and apprehending 4 men. 2 incidents similar to this one happened just days before. In new details about the unprecedented FBI search of former President Donald Trump's Florida home, what we're learning about the investigation that's focused on his potential mishandling of what could be classified material. It is the first time in American history that a search warrant has been issued on a former president, and given the political implications, approval came from the very highest levels of the Department of Justice. White House officials say President Biden had no prior knowledge of the search, and current FBI Director Christopher Wray was appointed by Trump 5 years ago.
The FBI executed a search of Mar-a-Lago, former President Trump's primary residence, around 10 a.m. Monday. 2 sources told CBS News investigators seized boxes and paper documents, but no electronics. The Secret Service maintains a constant presence at the former president's home and facilitated the FBI's entry. Authorities also opened Trump's safe. At least 2 of Trump's attorneys were present during the search.
That's right, another day in paradise. This was a strange day. You probably all read about it.
The documents are believed to contain classified information. Trump and federal investigators had been in negotiations over the records, and the FBI visited Mar-a-Lago in June. Mishandling classified materials is potentially criminal. Federal law requires presidential records to be turned over to the National Archives. It is not known what documents were taken by federal authorities Monday. The Justice Department has so far declined to comment. As night fell Monday, pro-Trump protesters gathered outside Mar-a-Lago. More assembled there today. What do you think will be the practical political reaction for people who favor or support former President Trump after yesterday?
I think he will win in a landslide in 2024.
Trump was not home, but released a statement alleging that he was a victim of a politicized Justice Department. A sentiment echoed by former Vice President Mike Pence, who said the appearance of continued partisanship by the Justice Department must be addressed. Congressional Republicans rushed to Trump's defense. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said Republicans would investigate Attorney General Merrick Garland's role in the FBI search.
What the hell are these people doing?
South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham spoke to Trump today and called the search of Mar-a-Lago suspicious and dangerous, yet helpful to the president's political fortunes.
One thing I can tell you is that I believed he was going to run before. I'm stronger in my belief now.
Trump, eager to portray himself the victim, sent out 2 fundraising texts to supporters. Speaking of money, in a separate development, a federal appeals court ruled Democrats on the House Ways and Means Committee can obtain former President Trump's business and personal tax returns, something the president argued unsuccessfully Congress had no legitimate right to review. Major Garrett, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Tonight, Trump will huddle with more than a dozen conservative House Republicans at his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. Well, the U.S. government is making a giant investment in the tiniest of things, microchips. President Biden signed the Chips and Science Act on Tuesday in an effort to boost U.S. competitiveness over China in the semiconductor industry. Naomi Rutcham has more.
And I promise you, we're leading the world again for the next decades.
With the stroke of a pen, President Biden is bringing chip manufacturing and research back to American shores.
It's in our economic interest, and it's in our national security interest to do so.
The $280 billion Chips and Science Act includes around $52 billion in subsidies for U.S. computer chip companies, $24 billion in tax credits for new manufacturing facilities, and tens of billions of dollars for research and development.
We're going to construct an entire semiconductor ecosystem right here in the United States of America.
Manufacturers aren't wasting any time. Tuesday, Micron announced a $40 billion plan to boost domestic memory chip production, and Global Foundries, in partnership with Qualcomm, is expanding a plant in upstate New York. But these investments aren't likely to solve the pandemic-induced global shortages right away.
Just the complexity of technology that it takes years to put capacity on. And I think for the better part of the next 5 to 10 years, we'll be chasing supply in this industry.
Chips are needed for just about everything we use these days, from cars and consumer electronics to medical equipment and military weapons, even kitchen appliances.
There's ovens with cameras that you can view what's baking, and almost all the refrigerators have computers, circuit boards in them now.
And modern living is putting increasing pressure on those tiny chips. A recent Commerce Department report found demand for chips was as much as 17% higher in 2021 than it was in 2019.